Hey everyone, welcome to episode 58 of the Quarantine Cast on Beyond the Brick. It's just Brian Saviano and myself, Joshua Hanlon, today. At this point, we'll see who else stops in here. But for me, it's going to be a struggle staying awake with the recent second COVID shot that I got. So Brian is going to be carrying us this whole time. And at this point, since it's just me and him, it's going to be a real struggle. But I know you can do this, Brian.
Absolutely.
And I completely forgot that we normally play an intro to these videos. So there you go. John just decided to cut me off halfway through. Oh, that's my bad. Yeah, I'd say I'm like a 30 to 40% capacity right now.
Oh my goodness.
If I was a car, you'd have me looked at the moment. I should be able to sit here and just continue working on this police station building.
You're just a husk with some vaccine in you. That's basically it.
Oh, hey, the stream has to go on though. I know you had an exciting weekend. I was playing pickleball the whole weekend, but you had some other things. So what did you get up to this weekend?
Okay, so LegoCon happened. I had all sorts of videos that were on the docket. Basically, with the past 4 videos that have come up for Beyond the Brick, this is becoming Beyond the Brick. So Brian, with the amount of content I'm giving this channel, it's getting. I got the Marauder right here that popped out. We got the Boba Fett Starship, not the slave one, kids. Boba Fett.
Oh boy, don't start that controversy.
We got all the controversy, the LegoCon stuff. A lot of stuff happened over the weekend. I received a little package as well. We'll wait until a particular individual makes their presence known before I open it. But before we dive into like news and me carrying the weight of this stream on my shoulders,
which you do most of the time anyway.
I mean, not most. There's usually other people here to help distribute the wealth. But
I did want to give a shout out to your Luigi review, which has been doing very well. So people are appreciating that.
You know, what's funny is I've noticed across the board, all the Luigi stuff has done remarkably better than the Mario stuff out the gate. And I don't know why. Like, maybe it's because people know Mario exists and then Luigi is a bigger thing. But I'm noticing just, like the views on like the unboxing video I did on the main video with Beyond the Brick, the airship, like all the videos across the board, they're just doing that much better. So it's incredibly awesome to see. Thank you, everybody, for watching it, giving it a shot. I will be doing more videos on Luigi stuff once I have the second half of the wave, which should be at an undetermined time, hopefully before August 1st, whenever LEGO decides to ship it out. So
shout out to Awesome Us in the comments who stayed up to catch up on last week's episode until 10 last night. So thank you for watching. Glad you're all caught up. There's very in-depth storylines that happen throughout these episodes, so it's very important to keep watching every week.
Yeah, no, we had lots of people join in. We have the rise of Ashdadi. We have so much going on. So it's incredible. Before we go like too super deep into it, Joshua, you want to educate the kids on what's going on?
Oh yes. So I should mention, so as we've talked about a number of times on this live stream, LEGO shows are starting back up here in the US at least, which we're very happy with. So we'll have Brick Rodeo is at the end of July in Texas, and then there's Omaha Brick Days that same weekend, which we'll be at just for the Sunday of the show after we're at Brick Rodeo. Then there's Brick Fair Virginia the next weekend, and then more and more stuff happening. So because of that, we are going to be phasing out the Quarantine Cast on Beyond the Brick. And I know a lot of people have very much enjoyed this. I have very much enjoyed the opportunity to host this with Brian every week, and Kirk as well, and then all the other people who stop by. It has been a real pleasure and a real treat to be able to just chat with people every week, discuss the LEGO news, and kind of have that social time when we couldn't get together in person. But now that there are so many shows going on, we're going to get back to the roots of Beyond the Brick and get back out there live on the scene for you guys to start bringing more convention videos. So I believe is it July 13th, I think is our final episode. I'd have to check the calendar. That's the last Tuesday before John and I fly out to Brick Rodeo in Texas. So
yes,
we're going to wrap this up. Now, that doesn't mean that we'll never do any live streams on Beyond the Brick again. We're just ending the official quarantine cast. But certainly there is a possibility that later in the year, especially the last about 3 months of the year, we don't have any shows scheduled at this point. So obviously, we've got the big 24-hour live stream we do at the end of November. But I think before then, we'll definitely do at least some streams, building some spicy stuff that Lego sends us, whatever might arrive in the mail. So just wanted to give everyone that update. So that's just 2 or 3 episodes left then before we wrap up the quarantine cast officially. And it's kind of crazy because we'll have done like 60 episodes at that point, which seems like a ton to have done in just like the year and a half here or whatever, or less than a year and a half that we've been doing this. So it's very impressive, Brian. Thank you for your keeping everything professional as always, and all of your advice and support with these live streams. It's been interesting to have this time without shows because we've experimented with a lot of content that we thought about. One of the big things was Brian doing the gaming streams, which we had always been something in the back of our minds that we had wanted to try at some point in the future. So we got to try that out a little bit. Obviously, these weekly quarantine casts, and then a lot more set reviews. Brian with all of the Mario stuff. So got to do some interesting things that we normally don't do on the channel because of this. So that's been nice.
Yeah, so that doesn't mean the fun stops once the quarantine cast is done, and like thankfully the quarantine cast is done in a way because we're no longer in quarantine, right? Hopefully we don't go back into the whatever it would end up being called at that point. But just to sunset the name of it, I think one person pointed out in the comments like this shouldn't call the quarantine cast. So you have to keep the branding succinct and everything else like that. What else? I mean, we're not going to do the final goodbyes and the blah, blah, blah right now. But what I'll say, in order for me to keep up doing some sort of Lego thing recurring on Tuesdays, because I've kind of baked this into my schedule a little bit. Don't know whether or not it's super duper public information, but I'll just say it here because whatever. I will probably hop onto the raid train on twitch.tv that they do on Tuesdays. So that would start at 2 p.m. instead of 1 p.m. So to hopefully have some sort of recurring Lego thing that I do, and go over some news. Basically, it's as if you have the main show and then the correspondent pops off, does another show, then pops back. It's kind of whatever. That won't be a permanent stint, but just to kind of keep some sort of momentum for me doing a Lego thing. I like doing that, and I've had a lot of fun on this show and getting to know so many people in the Lego realm. And going to Brick Fair, Virginia is going to be incredibly awesome, which I can confirm I will be going to. I will be there with the O'Hanlons, going to be doing some content.
Yes.
Got a nice deal on the hotel, which is actually not the one you normally, whatever. So got a nice hookup there.
He's not sleeping in his car, so you can be happy. He'll get a good night's rest.
Yes, I will be showering, everybody. I will be showering. So no, but it's been very fun. And once we get toward the 24-hour stream, it's going to be even more hotness happening, man. I'm very excited.
And I saw, let's see, there was a comment in the chat here saying, let's see where Milan says, now I have nothing to look forward to anymore every week, but we'll be back to daily content once we have conventions back. So instead of just, throughout quarantine, we tried to come up with as many ideas as possible to create more content, but there were definitely periods where we had very little to release on the channel. So the great thing about going back to conventions is we'll be able to start putting out a video every single day. Obviously, most of those will be the shorter, 10, 15-minute interviews, but then we'll have longer videos like the tour that Brian and I will record at Brick Fair, Virginia. The GBC videos have gotten very long these days, so I'm sure we'll have some long ones of those, but lots of great content back for people. So you can look forward to all of that, even if the weekly stream is ending.
You mentioned the gaming streams, and I really thought at some point the Skywalker Saga game would have come out by the time.
Yes, what in the world? That game.
Like, I thought that because I think at one of the final streams of those, I was like, yeah, these will come back when Skywalker Saga comes out. We'll see. They haven't even started developing the game. I don't even know what they're doing over there at TT, but maybe one day we'll see. But
wow,
no, it's been incredibly fun, and I have always been thankful for y'all having me to be on the channel and do whatever it is that I do. It's been a pleasure, but It's not ending this week, so
That's
don't get all
right.
teary-eyed, chat.
So
Still
we've
got a
got
long way to go.
lots more fun, especially when some of these guys show up here. What's going on, Nick?
It's my favorite content creator in the galaxy, Lego Super Mario. Oh my goodness.
Mario, let's go.
Oh
Dan,
man, Dan has a lot of nerve showing up in this stream after what he did over the past week.
I've never liked Dan so much in my life. Look at him. So static and flat.
I know. It's
Everyone.
really
All right, wait, get me caught up because I only caught the tail end of the start of the show here today.
You're being canceled.
Yes.
yes. We've got a new hashtag cancel Brick and Nick campaign that we're launching. We'll be doing weekly live streams calling for your demise.
Oh, that's a great plan, guys.
We're afraid of your success.
My idea for that.
You had to swap Mario out of the way. You just had to.
So much violence, Dan. Hi, Dan.
Morning. Forgot my glasses. I thought I'd get away with it, but I can't even read the chat. So, no.
Why do you read chat? Who needs to read chat?
Sometimes, every now and then there's a decent, question or statement in there.
What?
Something,
What?
That
Sometimes, every now and then.
Nick, the quarantine cast will be no more as of July 13th. The show is being canned.
It'll be the last Tuesday before we head out for our first Lego shows of the year. So we're gonna wrap up the official quarantine cast name for a while until shows slow down again, and then we'll see what we can do.
Makes sense. It's been a ton of fun, and I think it's gonna be really awesome to see you guys get back to the thing that you guys love to do most, which is covering shows. So.
For sure, yeah, and we'll definitely appreciate seeing a lot of people in person. Hopefully, people from that have watched this stream. So if anyone sees us at a Lego show, don't hesitate to come up and say hello. We love meeting people. Brian will be swarmed with fans anytime he walks outside. But if you've got some spare minutes, you can say hi to me and John as well.
I've been building up my eClout card for the past 60 weeks of this show, and I get to cash it in, baby. Yes, yes. Brick Fair, Virginia. See you there, kids. It'll be good.
That's right. Nick, what do you got there?
I'm actually just deciding whether or not I'm going to recycle my Lego Luigi box.
Oh,
You
definitely.
want to burn it in front of Brian?
Oh, yeah, that'd be better.
I don't know. Do you guys keep this kind of stuff? Like,
No.
Okay, so I kept mine for now to have it to fill if you want. Yeah, right there. It's right there just to fill that spot. But I don't think you need to do that. So probably not. I'll replace that empty box with a sealed copy because I have a problem one day, but not right now. So
yeah, I feel like I'm going to hold on to it. But if we get sent review copies of all the sets, then I'll get rid of it. And then I'll just keep that in the box.
that's what happened last time. We were a part of the championship this year, not Dan. And we also, like last year.
Not Dan.
Hey, not me either. Just for the record, I was excluded too, Dan. It's the one single thing we have in common.
That's all good. Apparently, a lot of people were excluded because they only did one call, not two like last year. And it doesn't sound like you guys are getting review copies either, Nick. So,
How come?
well, they would have made the offer by now. They'd done that by this time last year, and
how things have gone this year in general, I feel like it would not be so negative.
I saw
This
some correspondence that.
This is not the show where we're dissing on the Ambassador Network. This is a show we got to diss on LegoCon. Okay?
Thank you for keeping it positive as always, Brian.
Speaking of keeping it positive, tossing it down on the table for one of the final Tuesdays of the quarantine cast is the one, the only daddy that matters to me. Ash Daddy, the $49.99 super chat. Tuesdays
So
will never be
incredible.
the same. And speaking of Ash Daddy, I saw a comment on one of the quarantine casts that I sent a screenshot to Joshua, and it was the one and only Ash Daddy. He didn't even contact me on Facebook. He's so elusive. He's out there, right? And Ash Daddy said, "Hey, Brian, I got something in the mail for you." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Okay. I have that package here." Ash Daddy, should I open it live on camera?
Ooh.
Yes, do it.
Live unboxing. Let's go.
So I don't know what's in it,
Oh no! Oh no!
Okay. I will. I'm gonna wait until Daddy gives me permission. I'm gonna wait, but I'm assuming he's gonna say yes because he would probably want me to open it on camera. But we'll see. Moto, what's going on, man? Hey, man.
Also,
Dan.
are you sure you guys can afford to end the show? Because I mean, wasn't pretty much Esh Daddy just paying Brian's weekly wages?
That's true. I mean, John and I will be
Basically.
fine, but Brian, I mean, I don't know what he's gonna do.
I don't know, guys.
Hey, man. All right. Listen, I got my finances in a row a little bit. All right, Esh Daddy gave me permission. Permission's
At
been
least those,
granted.
Dunkin' gift cards, right? Like, who's gonna pay for those now?
We don't have the budget here. No, sorry.
Crazy. They got to plan their next trip to Antarctica.
That's
So,
right. You think we can make it to Antarctica if we're giving you Dunkin' gift cards? Go ahead.
This is from Esh Daddy. It had a little bit of priority mail shipping here.
Let's get Brian on the main screen so we can see what's going down here. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, look at Nick trying to keep it professional.
Look at that. He's just trying to make himself look good here.
It's literally a box of bubble wrap.
He says, "Hey Brian, just got these in. Thought you might like one. Cheers." From Esh Daddy. Ooh. I have a nice exclusive Esh Daddy hoodie based on the shop that he has on the
Ooh. Looks like a nice, comfy hoodie.
Ooh, it is not inappropriate boss mode. We're good. Ooh, it's actually pretty soft.
Chipotle. Sorry, Deanna, you're right.
It's very soft. It's very nice. I might use it as a pillow. Or actually wear it.
Very nice. And for the record, I'm going to give a big shout out to Esh Daddy for sending not one, but two of those for John and I as well here to the Beyond the Brick
Amazing.
headquarters, the South Bend office. So, big shout out. Thank you so much for your weekly support and for the items you sent. Definitely appreciate it.
And I would wear that right now, but it's also a sweltering 100 degrees outside, and I need all the air conditioning I can get. So, but thank you very much.
It's hot here as well, but my body is currently falling apart, so it doesn't feel that bad.
Yeah, no, we got to keep you alive, man. At least for another 2 weeks. Then you can be.
That's right. After that, yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now we're one step closer to the Bricks O'Brien body pillow. We're not going there yet, Milan. So there was
Deanna wants to know where you can buy. Are these for sale?
I'm assuming. Actually, I don't know if they are. We'll see. You want to comment in the chat, Esh Daddy?
I mean, Brian will put his on eBay for enough money.
Yeah, no, and I'll sign it. And that'll increase the value of it.
Decrease the value. Sorry.
Will it though?
Decrease,
Yeah.
Yes, decrease. My bad.
Before we launch into any further material, I just want to make it clear that I only invited Dan to publicly ban him from any future Beyond the Brick programming on this stream, so that we just have one final goodbye here. I'm not sure if you heard what happened the first time. I thought I'd just pop into one of his streams, just show a little support to someone who joins us weekly here on Beyond the Brick, and the how disrespected I was really is the only way to describe it.
Really?
So, yes, I'm not. Dan, you can go ahead and tell your side of the story.
This journey.
Feel free, Dan.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Daniel.
Oh man, it was a genuine mistake. Okay, I'm just putting it out there.
That's what they all say.
There's plenty of innocent people in prison. They're all innocent, right? Okay, I'm sticking by it. Anyway, Mr. O'Hanlon was gifted a subscription to my channel, and I have this thing where I, will print out a name on a label tape and stick it onto my SubCloud over there. And I was typing away, and I typed in Between the Bricks.
He used our support to give himself more clout. That's honestly what it boils down to at the end of the day.
You know what he did last night when I resubscribed? You know what he wrote on the thing? He wrote Bricks instead of Bricks O'Brien.
It's just muscle memory, okay? Look, you guys must know how many times you type out your own channel name time and time and time and time and time
I don't do
again,
that.
and it just
No.
becomes muscle memory, and
No.
you're distracted by people in chat, and your fingers are
I don't know,
typing away,
Dan.
and you look.
I've written many a name on Subheart bricks over 1,300, and I've never once
flex.
accidentally written my own name.
And
I've made
calling you out.
mistakes, Dan. I made mistakes.
he is physically
Wow.
written those
Names?
names too. Dan typed this out because his little tendrils can't write on the brick. He has to type it out. Nick actually is
excuse
writing
me?
these names.
Actually, Bricks
actually,
O'Brien, my old cloud with my old logo was all written onto the bricks,
Yeah, what happened?
inspired by Mr. Brick and Nick. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the end, it was like, no, it's too much like hard work. I'm just gonna,
You're like,
I'm
my
just gonna
audience
print
doesn't
these
deserve
tapes out.
this.
Yeah, that was too hard trying to fit names on bricks. Man,
So
Nick does
Dan.
a great job. Nick does a great job.
I thought I'd give you a chance after what you pulled last week, and that's how you treated me.
Look, man, look. It's you're there. Okay, look, right there. There you are.
The T isn't capitalized?
Oh,
No, go ahead. Say it again. Go ahead. Go ahead. 2 weeks in a row. Go ahead.
far out, man. Is it actually a capital S T in there?
Maybe not in the Twitch name.
No, maybe not. It probably is.
Oh,
well.
man.
All right.
Photo
Well, look,
days.
it was nice. It
Yep.
was nice. It was good while it lasted.
It was, wasn't it, Dan?
We're done
good.
here.
Good luck
anyway.
with the future. I look forward to seeing your show content. And yeah.
Princess Daddy Uwu says
Bye,
not
everybody.
in the Twitch name. It's apparently not in the Twitch name.
Oh, thank
So-
goodness for that.
You got that right. It's okay.
Yeah, that's good.
I have to
Moto
type in my
stays
own name
for
in
the
there first.
professionalism and the quality. Well, Moto, you're in the wrong place. What was pretty professional was the events over the weekend with Lego Con. How many people in the chat watched that one?
Not me.
I watched it.
Yes. I ended up doing a watch along on my Twitch channel because John was like, we're not interested in doing that on Beyond the Brick. So I did it on Twitch, and it was a pretty good turnout. John missed out on some sweet ad revenue before people tossed in their names in the chat. That's on him. But I did that, and it ended up going pretty well. Watching along with people, minus a few technical hiccups with the stream itself, the LegoCon stream itself. It went pretty smoothly. So that I know that's been a very hot button topic for people in the Lego realm. I have plenty of thoughts. I've shared some of that on the Tricky Bricks Sunday live stream extravaganza. But considering we have 2.5 hours to fill and Joshua's dead, I think it's time for me to.
If I fall asleep, just text John to come and wake me up.
Right. That's fair. So, Dan, you were dead asleep. Did you end up watching any aspect of it?
Yeah, I didn't get up to watch it at all because, I did end up watching yesterday. I watched the first 20 minutes, the pre-show portion with all the AFOLs, and I thought that was pretty good. They had some pretty decent information videos, and thought that was well done. I hadn't watched the rest of it yet, but from what I did see, I didn't think it looked that bad, to be fair. I think I watched about probably 2 or 3 minutes of the initial, the actual show where they were in the Lego house, and the production standard looked pretty high.
Yeah. In terms of the AFOL segment, I think Flynn will stop by at some point, but he had his own segment. Flynn and Richard had their segment at the beginning with the AFOL pre-show. And that was one of the better parts of the show that I saw. Call it my bias because I know them, but I was very happy to see that they had a little bit to do with it, and I think it was pretty effective. So that was nice. And they did.
I wish they would have had some Lego people hosting, like Brick and Nick. Why didn't they have Brick and Nick over there as one of the hosts? That would have been good.
Well, Brick and Nick, he can't even try to get into the United States for Brick Fair, Virginia, let alone going over to Denmark.
Yep.
Mm,
Travel restrictions right now are just not the funnest to work with.
that's unfortunate.
The guy that hosted it, I can't remember his name. Was it Omar
Melvin.
or something like that?
Melvin.
Who? Oh, Melvin. He did he host?
Lego Masters
Yes,
UK.
yes, he did.
Yeah, but he
Mr.
also
Mario
hosted
Championship?
one of the calls last year. Was it
Yep. He
Mario
did the
call
Mario tournament
last
year, and he did it this
Yeah.
year as well.
Oh, he did this year too. Yeah.
John
Yeah,
has
so-
a behind the scenes comment to make about how it looked like the NASA control center in the behind the scenes photos. It was insane. I don't know if you saw the photos that I think George is the name of the Lego designer that shared them on Twitter. But that was a crazy number of people and setup that they had going on.
Mm.
So there's a lot of so that was a lot of people involved with that. So it was Melvin O'Doom and Michelle Carr who hosted the event. They were the main host, and then Adam Ward was hosting the AFAL pre-show. Melvin's from Lego Masters UK. He hosted the calls that me and Nick were a part of this year, not Dan, and then all the four of us last year with the Mario event. We did that, and it was I think they did a great job with what they had given for the tone of the event and the pacing and everything. Obviously the technical issues where the stream actually kicked out once, actually twice, I think, but once for sure for an extended amount of time. And I know that, so, okay, that was one aspect. So they did a great job hosting it, and the AFAL pre-show was nice to see. So as someone who watched the whole thing and going into it, I was curious, not from a reveals standpoint, because as people of the press and in touch with the Lego realm, all four of us, we pretty much know all the stuff that Lego, announces or whatever, because either a press kit or some sort of Instagram kid says something about something. So we are very informed fans overall, right? This event was marketed specifically toward children, legitimate children, not the Instagram kids, not 13-year-olds, not
Legitimate children.
legitimate children who are not looking on, Reddit for leaks or whatever. So from that standpoint, that's what I expected going into it. I wanted to see what the show presentation was like compared to all the other types of events I've witnessed from Nintendo, Sony, EA, Blizzard, etc. So I had no anticipation seriously for a Luigi reveal or a gunship reveal, anything substantial like that, because that's just not what I was expecting. A lot of people on Twitter, if you look at the replies to some of those LegoCon tweets, you see a lot of angry 14-year-olds that are like, where's my gunship? So that's not the expectation that I had going into it at all. And I think that's where a lot of people are at right now. They think something good was going to happen, big was going to happen, and it just wasn't going to happen. Not for us, at least. There's Flynn. Hey, you're muted.
No audio today, Flynn.
Oh, okay.
All right, so yeah, well, Flynn's
Flynn's
very
not
optimistic
finding
about.
Chat. He must have misplaced it.
Yep. Okay, so you're good. Yep, you're good. Flynn's very optimistic about LegoCon, so that gives me a platform to dig into it a little bit before he shows up and makes a whole happy thing out of it. So, although his segment was great, so I was looking at it from that perspective. I thought, and I'm sure everyone in the panel has a lot of thoughts on the show itself and how things ran. I thought a lot of it was inconsistent in tone with who they were marketing the whole event toward, because for it being for kids, you had an AFAL pre-show where a lot of those nuggets that were in there are really great, but when you're marketing it toward kids, I think a few of those segments went too in depth on things that might have gone over kids' heads, where I think specifically, and again, call it bias because I know them, but Flynn and Richard's segment was, hey, this is how you can simply do a Technic thing. Like, this is this right here. And like, it's a very simple mechanism for what LegoCon is trying to convey, where some of the other segments I think went way too in depth for children to grasp onto and implement if they wanted to. So that was a little bit weird in that sense. I know you talked about the live aspect of it and how involved that was, having the whole control center there of the people working on it. That doesn't necessarily. Wait, are you good, Flynn?
I think so.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey.
Hello. I think
Kirk might be muted too, though.
no, he's definitely muted. I think intentionally.
Although he probably just doesn't say anything.
Well, Kirk speaks when he wants to, and then the emo.
Okay, well, it's not that I couldn't speak, but I joined and you just kept talking, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go and type this out.
Right?
Just,
Yeah.
You're not used to that after this long?
Nothing. Not a
You
thing.
joined in the pre-show. I forgot you didn't actually join on the live show. Hi, Kirk.
Hello, Brian. How are you doing?
I'm alive and well.
Great. How's everyone else doing? How are you guys doing?
Good, thanks.
Josh was dead.
Not great, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, John, you got your shot, Joshua.
I did.
Just,
I did.
Ow,
Ryan told me I could not take the week off, and so here I am.
He's
Meanwhile,
so like that.
Meanwhile, over on Twitch,
Master.
Yes, Daniel.
Right.
I was just going to say, meanwhile, over on Twitch, Between the Bricks subscribed for 2 months.
Wow, what a show.
I heard that this is probably going to be the last month.
Oh no, the Twitch channel will kick back live in a couple months, so you gotta keep the sub going.
And take
So
it out of my
I love
paycheck.
that I showed up and then everyone stopped talking about LegoCon. It's okay.
No!
I was wondering. I'm like, I didn't want to interrupt because I'm like, are we going to continue this discussion, guys?
Right. Oh, right. That's called cohesiveness with the show. All right, we got 2 weeks left, kids. All right. So for everything that was going on in that control center, and as I go into more about how I feel and I think how we all feel, blanket statement that the amount of effort that goes into putting on this show from a production standpoint overall is an incredible feat. There are hundreds of people working behind the scenes potentially to make this thing happen, from setting up the actual set itself, getting everybody ready for camera, hooking everything up in Denmark to go to a worldwide audience. All of that is incredibly apparent and should be acknowledged. That it's not a bashing session of how awful everything is and how, oh, this is dumb that you did it in the first place. That's not the tone at all. I think
Well, I'm out then.
I think a lot of people online are, and then it goes back to mute. I think a lot of people online are like, this was dumb, this was stupid. But a lot of those people were thinking that it was something for them as a teenager or adult, when that's just wasn't the case. And it's important to acknowledge that there is a lot of time, effort, and money that goes into these productions. So obviously, shout out to all the teams that worked on this and made it happen. And although that is the case, that does not exempt anything ever from being subject to critique, which is where I'm coming at it from that perspective. So I know, Flynn, you've been very adamant about like your stance on the show and trying to give Lego a bit more leeway with it, especially compared to me. So, I mean,
that's true about most things, though. But yes,
but that's what keeps this dynamic spicy. You know,
I know yes.
Right.
We're a mismatched pair. We will make a buddy film one of these days.
Exactly. As you were a part of the show, how do you feel it went overall in tone?
I mean, so I have to say that I've definitely evolved in my feelings over the past couple of days. Just like, I think as we all do, you hear other people's perspectives and you kind of go, well, okay, sure, I can see that, right? Like I generally try to see things from many points of view, if possible. And I do agree with the thought that using the word con in it really projected that it would be a certain type of thing, at least to people who are used to going to cons, right? Like either in person. And I think there was also because we have all been experiencing virtual cons, and we are now at the point where everybody's just champing at the bit to get back to real in life cons, that there was a certain amount of a level of, anticipation about it in that respect as well, I think. And the fact that it was being put on by Lego. And I also realize, and it's funny because I think a lot of people assumed it was going to be aimed towards kids, and a lot of people assumed that it was going to be aimed towards old, like you were saying, like teens and adults. And I was coming from the perspective, well, it was obviously meant for kids. Like they said, it was meant for kids. And I realized after hearing from some other people that like my entire concept of it was skewed by my participation in it, not meaning like I'm rah company guy, but more from the perspective of when we were asked to film our content, we were told this is aimed towards kids 7 to 12, and we don't want to talk. We want to show them some cool stuff, but we don't want to talk down to them. So, like just present it like you'd be presenting it to anyone else. And just, that was our directive. So to me, from, and they've been working on this for months. Like we filmed that content, quite a while ago. So to me, always in my mind, it was meant for kids. And being an educator and somebody who's around, kids, teaching them Lego stuff a lot and knowing what their excitement level is about certain things, I thought it was, I think it succeeded in a first time out try of a completely new thing for Lego. They'd never done anything like this before. The experience that I got was from like Holly sending me pictures of her friend's kids sitting in front of the TV with LegoCon on, with his Lego all around him building. And in my opinion, like if you could inspire kids to build, then you have succeeded at least on some level.
Yeah, and they did that, especially with the dots portion. I thought that was very interesting and very good. They had that interactive bit. Now, that kind of plays into how I feel about the live aspect of it, because they were saying that, yes, we are taking them live and tossing them up on the Lego house wall, and that's a very cool portion of it. But, okay, part of this event and the way it was conducted and the way that I'm used to seeing it in other aspects, right? A Nintendo Direct, for example, E3, they have a entire pre-recorded video that basically goes live, and then boom, there it is. It debuts. People watch it. People react to it. Whatever. To me, in the very beginning of the show, they said, "Hey, we're gonna pull questions from Twitter. Here we go." And then they pulled like two little aspects from Twitter where they were like, "Hey, this person said this person did that." And then every other question throughout the show wasn't from a specific person, and it didn't seem like it was from a genuine person asking. It definitely felt like this is a question that we want to ask the designers because this is a okay question to ask within the parameters of this is a corporate event. And something that I mentioned this on your stream, Flynn, about like the questions when they were talking to the two Lego Friends designers. And then the question was, what would you like to see? What's your favorite thing you'd like to see happen in Lego Friends? What's your favorite like sub-theme, whatever? One of the designers said, well, we already had that with a ski resort because I love skiing. And I'm like, oh, that's okay. Well, like if you take a like, okay, we don't want to spill any beans from a corporate perspective. Yes, we already did one. And then the other answer from the other designer was, well, we at Lego have so many things going on with Lego Friends. We're just kind of have to wait and see. And it's like, you could have had some other, literally anything to be a bit more genuine off the cuff instead of having that answer in the back pocket for media training that you had by working at Lego. Like there could have been something, like that definitely felt like a manufactured answer, not from a genuine person. And I get that it's a corporate event, but like kids can see through those sorts of things. Like you don't talk down to kids in that sort of way. And like, just, it's different when we have a designer on here. We can ask whatever questions and they can try to play it off, whatever. And they're a bit more genuine. But in that sort of environment too, like, why not actually pull questions from people and actually have it be a live event? Because if you're just going to pull questions from Twitter and you're going to curate it to whatever you want it to be, Lego might as well write all the questions. They might as well not even do it live, because there's no real live aspect to it other than the polls that were happening that the social media team could have just done at the same time. And, you know, all those interactions on the Lego website, you could have done that without it being live either.
Well, but there's a certain excitement. Yay, April.
Hi.
I think there's a certain excitement to live, though, right? And that's really big right now. Like, you gotta, you know, you do have to look through it, like all of these events, like a Nintendo Direct, like anything else. You have to look at it from a marketing perspective, because they certainly are, right? Like, that's what this is all about. So,
in saying that though, sorry, just from an outsider's looking in, just thinking about that, if they get on there at the beginning and they say, hey, we're going to be, you know, taking questions from Twitter, are they expecting kids to have Twitter accounts, or are they expecting those questions to come in via like their parents? Like, what's that's a bit confusing to me.
Well, I have to say too, given the vehement hatred that came from so many levels, I wonder if they were like their poor social media person was on Twitter and it was just so full of like hot garbage that they were just like, you know what? Never mind.
Absolutely this. I do live event production for a living. That is my job. Okay. And sometimes when there is a social media aspect to it and you want people to tweet, Facebook, whatever about the event live, it is so toxic that you can't use any of it. And you have somebody working on the back end of a phone or a computer, just like about to blow their brains out, because it's like, what is this? We can't use any of it. And then you have to come up as a crew with stuff you can put out for the audience that's acceptable.
Which is fair, but also it wasn't just toxic comments. I looked on the trending, not trending, but like the overall search. I'm like, let me search up LegoCon, not just be in the echo chamber of like, you know, the neckbeards complaining we didn't get a gunship. And there's actual parents on Twitter who are like, look at my kids watching this. Like Flynn said, there's legitimate pictures out there from not within this realm. And they could have pulled from that. They exist.
Legitimate children.
Yeah, you're right. Legitimate children.
But also, are they going to put a picture of somebody's kid up on LegoCon for everybody to see too? Like,
no, but the text, they could have been like, oh, you know, me and my family.
There's just a lot that goes into it. And, you know, it just is what it is. I thought they did a good job with what they had. And I thought that it was executed well for the audience they were going for. My kids watched it and liked it. And that was really all I cared about, because I knew what I was getting into ahead of time. So,
right. Nick, you were watching along with my stream a little bit, and I know that there were some beats of it that you were like, so like, what's your vibe and take on the show? For Nick. Yeah, you.
Sorry, what was that?
You just got ignored, Brian.
I find a piece, so sorry. It was really loud.
He wanted to know your thoughts on the show because you watched it through his stream.
Yeah, so I did miss bits and pieces, but like to me, like I won't deny I was certainly like thinking of it like a lot of the other, you know, live events, like the directs and stuff like that. And I think I saw a comment actually that I think kind of highlighted one of the problems with it was that like they had very much put a lot of the hype around this Lego Star Wars reveal. And if you're going to do that and kind of prepare people for some sort of reveal, and I'm sure, you know, this has been, you know, this horse has been eaten horribly dead. But it's like, just make sure it's going to be a successful reveal and not something that happened to leak within the last week. Like, okay. I don't think it would take all that much to ensure that they could pull off a reveal.
Children that are 7 years old aren't looking at Instagram leaks. So that is new to them.
I totally agree. Like, kids, I'm sure we're still loud and excited. But knowing, regardless of whether or not the event is aimed toward kids, knowing that adult fans of Lego and teen fans of Lego are going to be hearing these things and get excited for it, you're setting yourself up for like disappointing a lot of people when really all Lego had to do was not send out any of the information on the set they wanted to reveal to any of RLFM or any retailers in advance, and they could have pulled it off successfully.
I got a lot of thoughts, but I know Flynn wants to go next because
Yeah.
you feel very passionately about
And again,
this.
that's,
I know
like
you do.
one point of the event. I think a lot of other things with the event were successful and were fun and were still cool. And I think the host, brought a lot of great energy, especially Melvin. So there was definitely still a lot of great stuff to, kind of commence and congratulate and celebrate. But to me, like if you're gonna say reveal and then not succeeded it, it's just a miss.
Do you think it could have been an issue of like since because I can't remember when exactly the set leaked the ship. I can't remember the name. But do you think it was like an issue of like them already having that planned and everything, like the whole reveal thing and everything, and then that's
of course they had it planned. And I'm sorry, like I've seen the argument like, oh, and all we saw was stuff that was already leaked. Okay, you know what? That's a crap argument. I'm sorry, like not even just that it's for, and this is not to you, Nick. This is just like what I've seen is that points to the bigger problem of people posting leaks. Like it's such.
Well, and you have to understand.
It's just such crap. Like that's just not. It's so unfair. And to then say that expectation. Well, why would I like this if I already saw it leaked? Well, there you go. That's why there's a problem with leaks. It's just a stupid argument.
Well, but everybody's counter thing to that was, well, since we already saw this stuff that got leaked, why didn't Lego just say, well, here's this other thing that most of us sitting on this panel know is coming in the near future? But they still have to deal with Disney and, Lucasfilm and everybody else. There are still embargoes that Lego has to deal with. And just because a retailer accidentally leaked something that wasn't supposed to be revealed until the day of the con, it's not their fault.
Exactly.
That's what they had in the plans to do. And just because there was a mistake on someone else's end doesn't mean they're on the hook for trying to release something else earlier than what they are legally supposed to be doing.
So, because in the end, like if in the sense of them, if they were to base anything on that situation of like people are constantly leaking things, they're never going to be able to reveal stuff. It's just going to be well, it's leaked, so we might as well not show anything. They already
exactly.
My only point here would be that like I would agree with that if Lego has never pulled off a successful reveal, but given like the way they pulled off Lego Super Mario last year, that was by far historically one of the best reveals they've ever had. Brian's shaking his head right now.
No, that was one of the only times that I woke up. And granted, the quarantine cast I wasn't like, getting press releases from beyond the whatever. But that was one of the few times I woke up and I had 15 text messages like, dude, and then it just dropped. There was there was talk of Lego Leaf. What's a leaf? But no one knew it was Lego Mario. And then
well, I think I would chalk up a lot of that to Nintendo, who plays things notoriously close to the vest. Like they are. So,
but by that comparison, though, Flynn, and this is a whole separate argument that I feel like we're going to go into after LegoCon in general. So, in that similar vein, though, why can't Lego do the same thing? But that's entirely different. So, regardless of it leaking, right? So I had the set. I got the press release. I had it sitting in my office for weeks, right? And when they said, we have a very exciting Lego Star Wars reveal that kids are going to love. And I'm like, oh, no. I just started shaking my head. Not because it leaked, but because this right here, this is not an iconic Star Wars ships that kids care about. Kids are not watching The Mandalorian Season 2 and thinking, oh my goodness, it's another gray starship. This is not iconic. This is not a hype bringer of a set. I mean, I know someone designed this set and this is what Lego was given from Lucasfilm. I understand. I get this. This is not hype at all. It's not even close. And, they did the reveal for it, which is a very cool reveal. You had it dropping and then with the Force and everything else. This does not bring the energy that I think that they wanted to. And they said in the promotional image, there is a set. You're thinking, some people are thinking Republic Gunship. That's on them. They're not going to do the Republic Gunship. I totally understand that. This is not hype. There needs to be something else that would have brought the hype. And let me tell you what I would have loved to have seen. And I obviously know embargoes, release date, blah, blah, blah. I understand all that, right? Job Builder, you're not getting Lego Legend of Zelda at a reveal like that event. No way. That's too high. Way too high. You're thinking way too big. Temper it. What Lego idea set are we expecting in the relatively near future that got announced and would have been perfect to have for kids, and that also has an anniversary this year? Sonic the Hedgehog. And if you had like a demo image or something for Sonic, oh my, that would have been mama sauce. It would have been perfect. Why wouldn't you try? It's Sonic's anniversary. They're doing all sorts of games. They did a orchestral renditioning of songs from the series. That would have been perfect. Not Sonic would have been perfect as a reveal. And instead, we got more information about the typewriter, which is great. But kids aren't building the typewriter, and kids aren't going on Lego Ideas and voting for this stuff. Don't you have to be 13 to do that? So why is this in this presentation?
I'd be the 13-year-old who would go on and vote for the typewriter on Ideas.
Yeah, because you're old. You're basically dead with this vaccine shot.
Speaking of Sonic, did you see that there was some big Sonic-related YouTube channel that commented on some of your I think airship review?
I did,
like
yes. We're negotiating multi-million-dollar deals as we speak.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, carry on.
Well, I agree with you, Brian. It's not like to hype that up as iconic is
what is this? What?
But
really?
I will say this at this point with Lego Star Wars, how do you reveal something iconic that hasn't already been done 50 times?
So I think, and I mean, I don't think it fits the scale, but that Boba Fett starship is it's a really solid set for $50. You got over 500 pieces, 2 minifigures. That doesn't bring the hype because it's not a big set, but it's certainly more iconic than this thing that appeared for 5 minutes of season 2 of a TV show kids aren't watching.
Oh, okay.
That's debatable.
Yeah, I don't know about not watching, but
the intended audience for The Mandalorian is definitely not 8-year-olds.
Okay, that may be as that may be, but I will tell you 100% from experience at being at a secondhand Lego store where there's a lot of pre-built models around, especially Star Wars ones. Those kids know every name of every ship and every name of every minifigure that comes with it, what the helmet looks like, whether it had a blue stripe on it or didn't have a blue stripe on it.
Right.
They know. So I think it may be a little unfair to say that no kids care about it, because I'm sure there were a section of kids that knew and did know what it was and were excited about it. But I do agree with you that as an overall, like, even I was like, huh? Well, who? And I watched the show, but it's been, since 6 months or whatever. But I was but I'm telling you, these kids, they know if that Master Wu minifigure has the wrong beard on it.
No, and I know that too, but there's definitely something that's more iconic and kids would love a lot more than this.
100%. 100%.
That's the gist of it, but I know we're on the same page, Flynn.
Okay, so
Bazoom is reporting us for elderly abuse real quick, so just watch it, Brian.
You kids and your space. He just heard him dissing a spaceship, and he's like, "Wah!"
Well, Bazoom did say that it's in Rebels as well, so not
good
just
for Rebels.
one show for 5 minutes. Which plays into what Flynn's saying, is that kids do know about this stuff. Look, I think at the end of the day, no matter what anyone's opinions are, everyone's free to have their opinions, but we all now have the value of hindsight. We can look back on it and go, oh, but could have. Whereas these guys at Lego that produced this had to kind of project forward, God knows how long that they've been working on this.
Months,
probably a year, to be fair, or more for the production side. I heard about this. I heard about this back in January or February on a call with Jordan, and I think we just played it off as we didn't know what the heck he was talking about. But turns out that's what it was. But these guys have got to try and put together a show in advance, months and months and months in advance of what they think is going to be interesting and cool. And I genuinely think they probably did the best they could. And I think it's a bit unfair and a bit harsh for us, privileged AFOLs to be ignorant about the fact that how much work they put into it, and without the value of hindsight. So, it might not have been the greatest informational show for us because we see every single little last scrap of a picture from the corner of the deep, dark web.
Yeah.
But I'm sure plenty of people found it entertaining. And the other thing too, Lego are not deaf. They will take feedback from this, constructive feedback, and make the next one better. So, I don't see the point in bagging it. Constructive feedback, criticism, I think is always welcome. But some of the posts I've seen out there where people are just openly
unacceptable,
bagging it and
unacceptable.
Yeah, it is. It is unacceptable in my opinion, and I don't think it needs to happen. So that's my 2 cents. I didn't watch all of it.
Difference between what we're doing here and just complaining for the sake of complaining on Twitter. There's a big difference.
Okay, I want to ask a question to everybody here in the chat. Okay, as AFOLs, who are the main people that I see complaining about this event, and some people here are in the gaming realm too, so you're going to know what I'm talking about, okay? If Lego put on a show that was made for AFOLs, a presentation, whatever, where we talk about exciting new reveals and whatever it is, you put it out like a PlayStation Direct or whatever, right? Tell me that you wouldn't still have all that toxic negativity. Every time there is a gaming con, a gaming presentation, whatever, it's the same thing. You get stuff and you get reveals and you get the things you want, but there's always people that are like, this was the worst thing ever. They didn't give me what I wanted.
Well, right. Always. But there's definitely a lot of things that happen in those events that are unanimously praised and appreciated as the ante is upped. And I think back to this most recent Nintendo Direct, the E3, where a lot of people were expecting and had the anticipation for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. You got it. Bam. Great. And then the thing that caught people and really upped the ante was Metroid Dread, Metroid 5. Totally unexpected. Nobody got a press release beforehand. It did not leak. It was bam, there it is. And oh my... Lego needs a lesson in having the hype and don't send stuff to us beforehand. I get it. Ambassador Network, you got your partners, you blah, 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 blah. No one knew about Metroid Dread. And if they did, they kept it secret because they know Nintendo, you're not getting it. If you mess up, like Flynn said, that's a Nintendo tight-lipped. If you mess this up, don't. Like, that's how that goes. And that's a precedent that's been set. And Lego, I mean, it's easy for me to say, really got to crack down on that, right? But Nintendo knows how to do that right. And the thing about it, kids and adults are very excited about the new Lego sets coming out, where I don't want to hear about a new $200 Ultimate Collector Series set from one tweet on Twitter or a blog post. I want to see a video that's like, here's the design. Here's a whole make it as big of a deal as you can, because people care about that, kids and adults. And they just don't understand that you can really drum this up into a big thing, kind of like what they did with Mario in a way. Just drum it up, make it a big thing.
Well, again, I point to the fact that this is something that Nintendo's been doing for a really, really, really long time. And I can guarantee you there have been some stinkers in there.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, I'm sure if you went back and looked at their very first one, it would be like, oh, ouch.
Well, but the first one was also 8 years ago. Like,
but that doesn't matter, because this was this, and 8 years from now, LegoCon may be the biggest event of the year.
Right, but and the tone was different in those presentations back in that time too, with the Wii U and Nintendo. There's a certain baseline level of pacing and just the overall flow to a show that you don't need to learn over the course of 8 years to refine and get to that point. There's also a lot of people, a lot of different hands at play, And let's say they got a company that specializes in getting this sort of show running properly. That's a flow that could have been established. They didn't need to learn for a certain amount of time for that.
Brian, I can tell you from being on season 1 of Lego Master, there was a lot they were not prepared for. And that show had been done in other countries a bunch of times. Like it was a learning experience for everybody involved. Mm-hmm. And just because somebody may have an experience of doing an online event, they don't have experience doing an online Lego event.
Well, right, but even still though, with Lego Masters, it's not like Lego Masters season 1 was radically different from all the other ones. There was a baseline level of what was going into the show. That's what I mean. There's a baseline level of stuff, and they improve on it in the various seasons in per region.
Yeah, and I think Sniffle Gully makes a good point that advertising toys is different than advertising games. And I would also say that Nintendo, being a video game company, has had to be on the cutting edge for a long time. Like, because technology, right? Like, you've always got to be the next biggest, the next greatest, the next biggest thing. Mm-hmm. And I feel like with Lego, it's only really been in the last couple of years that all of a sudden there's this been explosion of them like moving forward as a company, where they kind of stayed in this sort of same area vein for many years. Mm-hmm. And just in the past couple of years, they've made these huge leaps forward as a company, trying to do like all the sustainability stuff, the diversity and inclusion stuff. Like they're like slowly making their way out there.
Joshua, can you highlight Axel's comment real quick in the YouTube chat for me? Just so I can make a point here. We're not arguing. This is not arguing. This is a discussion. Like, there are people out there that want to argue.
This is how Brian and Flynn always talk.
Yeah, right. This isn't arguing.
It's okay. Dads aren't mad at each other. No, we're just having a discussion.
It's a panel of 7 people having a discussion. Well, 6 and a quarter. 6 and a quarter here having a discussion about the show.
Okay, so take this into consideration. If you watch the Nintendo Direct, let's talk about Metroid in particular here, which is what you brought up. How far out was Metroid? It was like November or December, right?
For release this year? October.
October. Okay. So just say that they had the same kind of embargo lead time that Lego does, and they couldn't talk about Metroid until 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
If you could only talk about games that were coming out in 2 weeks and not, a year out or whatever, doing teasers, like their events would suck.
What do you mean?
It's true. Okay, you've got these Star Wars sets. The embargo was that day. That's the only thing that they could really talk about, right?
Right.
If you had a Nintendo event and they could only talk about something that was coming out in 2 weeks, not giving you teasers for stuff that's a year out or something that's 3 or 4 months out, that event wouldn't be as good. There wouldn't be any hype around it because it would have to be surrounding one game or whatever that was coming out.
No, but they've made announcements about like sets, or rather, with games that come out years from now. We don't know when Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out. We don't know when Bayonetta's coming out.
Right, but we know they're coming out. They've been announced and teased. But Lego's not putting out teasers for things that are coming out a year from now, are they?
They put out a teaser for Lego Mario March of 2020, and it came out in August. That's a long time.
I would say about
but it's not the norm.
Expect though, and I think April does bring up a good point in that. Like, I don't think kids are going to be super excited about a reveal that is going to happen that far advanced. So that is actually really, like, I think an important thing to keep in mind in that, like, a reveal that's going to be exciting to kids naturally is going to come with a lot more risk of being, leaked early, because they're probably close enough to the point of releasing that there's no choice in the fact that a lot of the assets and information is going to necessarily need to be put out there. To the retailers and stuff like that. So it's a tough. I do think a 4-month window though really isn't maybe that bad. So like maybe they could have gotten away with it like they did with Mario last year, but it does move a lot faster, as Cranky's saying in the chat. So,
but also
that's hard to think about.
Also, that's dumb, and I want to reveal. I want to see Sonic. Where's Sonic?
Yeah. Okay. Well, hang on.
All right, the other thing to think
driving the gunship. You got to look at what are the reasons why Lego are so protective over their reveals, right? Because their biggest
Because of
fear is leaks and
fakes.
copycats, right? Because of
Yeah.
fake Lego sets. How many video games get copied and faked by another company and put out on the market for, you know, a tenth of the price? Does it actually happen? I don't know. I'm actually asking that as a genuine question.
But the thing is, with Lego, well, let's take Nintendo, right? You can't copy the IP. You can't copy Mario. Like, there's a gold standard quality that comes with Nintendo games and Sony first party games and all this. These other indie devs and knockoff people trying to replicate it, you're not going to replicate it. It's just not possible. And that's true to an extent with Lego as well. You can't replicate the copy to a T with the plastic and the figures and the quality. You can't do it. And yeah, I understand that Lepin is a concern and all these other companies are a concern as well. And that's a whole different issue of them needing to crack down even more on that. But that's a whole other logistical thing that doesn't pertain to this, not really.
But it's true. And that's the reason why we can't see stuff as far ahead as we, would like to. Because
So
the second you show a picture of it, then they're right on it. You see it in ideas now where they're making ideas sets before they're even picked.
I'm gonna pin this card against you, April. Okay, you ready?
Yep, do it.
Okay. So when we saw the most recent wave of video stuff, we got all of the set reveals, and then what else did we get on the VIP? We got to see a lot of these different things that were not sets, not revealed, not actually used, but here they are. They're really cool, and by that logic, Lego wouldn't want to show that because then what if another company copies that, right? But they still showed it and it was a really cool reveal. So why not have that sort of like cool thing happen, but at LegoCon? Show something from Lego Friends that wasn't made an official set, but here's like some concept images or just something in general to show kids a legit behind the scenes. Instead of doing a whole Lego Friends segment that was MTV Cribs, you could show a little bit about what sets didn't actually make it to market, or just an idea. Like that's the sort of thing that isn't a proper reveal, but it shows a little peek behind the curtain without sending off all the flags to people overseas like, oh, let's copy this. It's just a little snippet. And with those video reveals that we got, those prints, didn't we get that the first time around? And then there were actually images of figures that weren't yet revealed, but were then revealed for this August wave.
And some of the other ones were in the concept imagery folders.
Right. So they teased it and they put that out for the world to see way ahead of time. Why?
But they also do that with other stuff. They also do that with designer videos. Look how many people are just hell-bent on finding stuff in designer videos now.
Right.
The Tumblr, whatever.
But they didn't do that at LegoCon, which is something I wish they would have done to add a little bit more behind the scenes and a peek behind the curtain with that.
Didn't you see, Brian, all the comments from people on the Harry Potter segment that thought that we were getting a brick-built cauldron, even though it was a ceramic flower vase?
Bunch of dummies.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on, everybody?
I hadn't heard of that one. That's hilarious.
Reveal. Ceramic vase. There's a succulent inside of here. No, of course not.
So, look, succulents are gonna come in the botanicals at some point.
Oh,
I
that's
believe
it. That's the big brain
I
move
absolutely
right there.
believe it. No, I
The next
believe it.
botanical.
Succulents make great little.
Can I throw something out there?
Go.
Yeah.
I would say LegoCon is a smashing success given how much time we're spending debating it.
Yeah. Well, we also
How
got
much
7
time it's
people
been
here.
talked about in general since
people
it aired.
Talking. It got people talking.
Yeah.
And if Lego is listening, just give me Sonic. Give me the castle. Give me Sonic. Give me some concept images for Lego Friends.
You did not just say the castle.
Of course, he said the castle. He can't make it through one live stream without saying castle.
Give me the Sonic
I'm not
castle
surprised you get
instead.
3 sentences without saying castle.
All right. So, come on. You know. Also, they showed an entire segment on Technic with I love that, by the way. When they did that Technic video with the car and they're like 3, 2, 1, go, and then
I don't think that was a great demo video. Because like the builds fell over multiple times. They were incredibly slow. They didn't necessarily look very capable.
Not for nothing. Putting even my biases aside, and maybe it was because they cut out with the stream and whatnot. They showed only the sets on the table for Lego Super Mario. There's a lot of stuff you got to explain with that. Why not take out that Technic segment, toss it on the YouTube channel, and explain to kids how Mario and Luigi works?
Because some kids like Technic.
What?
Unfortunately, and not everyone is obsessed with Mario like you.
Did they ask them their favorite color?
If you were gonna have a recorded session.
Yeah, it's Lamborghini. They showed the Lamborghini. Flynn's like, no, that was actually an Alyssa comment, not me, Flynn. I can't take credit for that one. That was when Sario was on decades ago. So I thought them showing that Technic bit, I'm like, okay, let's get Jello.
It was a fun idea, but like if you're gonna have a pre-recorded video, like make sure it's like flawless. Like I don't know, like I guess in a sense, like the fun of that kind of stuff is like things are obviously gonna happen, but
Sure.
I don't know. I think it could have been a lot more appealing.
Well, I think that it was the speed was really the problem in that particular
But it was
one.
accurate, right?
It was.
Like that's how slow it's gonna go.
Gotta give you credit.
Yes, no, it is accurate. But if you're gonna set up like a race, because I got excited, I was like, "Oh, I want to see these like speeding trucks with the Jello shaking in the back," and then it was like,
You can come up with a more practical task, like for them that like didn't make you feel like, why is this a race when they're the slowest vehicles? Like, make them, carry a big load up a steep slope or something.
Yeah, like a
understandably going to be a slow process, right? Like.
Yeah, like
It's
an
get into
obstacle
that
course
stuff,
type
though.
thing, right?
Yeah,
Which it kind of was.
But like they made it, they hyped it up as a race, and then it was just like, oh, okay.
You mean like, all right, let's go.
Dude, that was awesome the whole time. All right, everybody, we're with the dinosaurs.
Yeah, the clock.
They did eventually, in the end, get some people on the crew to clap as well, but that was a bit.
There should have
that
been
was a
track
little
for
bit.
that.
Yeah,
But again, I will say, I think it succeeded as a first time out event meant to get kids excited and get kids inspired, and that to me again is like super important. And I will say, kind of going back to the negativity thing, is. And maybe what I'm going to say is very controversial. And, I don't say controversial things very often. But I do note that it seems to be the same people who are always with the negative comments.
Yeah.
And, it's like, do you really like this? Or are you just being here to complain? Like, I don't understand. I mean, that's the thing that frustrates me when I see it, is it just always seems to be the same people with the toxic comments and just hating everything. And I guess maybe that's like,
There's a
I don't know, it's just like after everything we've been through in the last year, like, do we really just need to drill down on the negativity about everything? Is it really necessary?
And some people are just so miserable that's what they do for fun.
Just in every community, like there are always going to be, creators and whatever that just really focus on the negative stuff, because at the end of the day, like negativity sells, and a lot of the time it sells a lot more than the positivity. Unfortunately, you can see that on every platform with every community. I'm often amazed by it, like being a streamer and seeing how some streamers carry themselves in their communities. It just blows my mind that these people find support. And
you can name drop me, it's fine. You can just say.
I was hoping you would let me do that.
Brian's right here, Nick. Really?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
There's plenty of people out there with a very high sense of self-entitlement.
You can, again, Dan.
Delete it up.
Right here.
Well, and I mean, the fact of the matter is, they will never be happy with anything, no matter what it is. There will be
something to pick at.
Right. And unfortunately, I feel those are the voices that get amplified.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's because they put themselves in a position of being loud. They post it everywhere. It's all over the place. It's in your face constantly. When people who are positive and, want to put that forward, just put out something nice, and it's not noticed because it's just something nice. But when somebody's like, hey, this is terrible, then, People
Well,
like
it's
it.
just like people on Yelp are far more likely to leave a negative review than a positive review.
Yep.
Right.
That's why I want to reaffirm, like, anyone who had any expectations about getting the gunship or anything super spicy, I think you were misguided from the start. I would have loved to see it, and I think seeing a little bit more of a peek behind the curtain, but with some images about not preliminary stuff, but like what we got with video, that caliber, I think that is a good way to showcase that sort of thing, to show the entire like a good aspect of the show was like, hey, here's the process. And like Flynn and Richard did just that. Here's the process on how to build this thing. What's the process when developing a set or doing this? So like kids care about that, and that's going to inspire them to want to become a Lego designer or get into architecture or graphic design or whatever. That's why they had the astronaut on. I see like a lot of people like, oh, why are you talking about space sets from 2019 that have the astronaut? You got to inspire kids to be interested in space, because we haven't gone to the moon in so long, and we want to go to Mars, and that's incredibly important to showcase those sorts of things, and show off, make it a marketing point for the space shuttle and the lunar lander. Great, fine, if that's the way you want to do it, whatever gets that sort of information out there. I thought that stuff was great.
Yeah.
Speaking of people feeling miserable, I'm having flashbacks to about 15 to 20 hours into the 24-hour live stream right now. That's about where I'm at physically.
Are you really? Where Andres was talking about the Coliseum with Rock for a solid 2 hours.
Oh, but you all are doing a great job, so keep it.
I've been watching Joshua. I've just been watching him.
Hey, I hear that sleeping streams are really popular right now. You could just kind of lay back and close your eyes.
We got this.
Right over the hot tub thing and just go straight to sleeping.
There you go. Or sleep in the hot tub.
Yeah.
That sounds really nice, actually.
Double down.
Just make sure you got like a safety vest on, so that way you don't
just floating on the top.
I heard there's been some really good sales on hot tubs.
Brian won't let me leave, Deanna. He said I have to do it.
No, I'll let you. You can leave if you want. I won't. Me and Kirk can handle this. Look at Kirk. He's got the red shirt on. He's professional.
It's true.
It's fine.
No, I'm just sitting here getting some building done. Started on the second floor of the police station, so it's all good.
Oh yes, Deanna makes a good point. Kids, do not sleep in the tub. This was a joke.
Yeah, don't.
So hold on. Wait, there was a part of LegoCon where Melvin was talking to the renewable, brick person, whoever was in charge. And then he said, yeah, so these Lego pieces are made out of plants. They're really cool. Like sustainability, blah, 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 blah. And then Melvin's like, yeah, so I can eat them? And then the guy was like, bottles. Don't eat Lego. Why am I the one that says it?
Oh man.
What, like, is that like a Denmark thing where like the humor is just not like,
no, Nick, no, Nick.
Don't eat
Not
Lego.
confirm nor deny whether I've done that in the past.
Well, now the funny thing is though, that is not an uncommon question. I have actually I can't remember talking to somebody a while back when they came out with those plant-based plant sets, those little mini sets that they gave out the store. I had multiple people ask me if you could eat them. I was like, why?
and that was
It's a vegan's dream.
Right. Perfect comedic moment for Melvin right there. And then the guy was just like, and then he carried on. Like,
You mean like when he got denied during his little dance deal too? He was like, oh wait, I'm the only one.
I gotta say, my heart totally went out to the girl from the Lego house who was running the dots thing.
Oh, Melanie.
Right?
Shout out to Melanie. Oh my God.
We love Melanie. We love you.
Melanie, if you're watching this, you're not, because you got better things to do. But Melanie looked so nervous putting all these dots on the wall, and like my just as My chat was joking around like she's going to be there for 76 hours putting these 39,000 plates on the wall.
Yep.
Melanie's just like, yeah, Melvin, we're doing great. Everything's fine over here. Look at the design, Brickmaster Amy. All right. And then just keep going at it, man. Shout out to Melanie. Killing
So
it.
that's what these comments are. I was wondering what that was about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So wait, what was she doing?
So they had the 6x6 dot plates, right?
Yeah.
And you put dots on them, and they're putting them all along the top of the Lego house, going from one zone to the other. So it's a team of like 3 people. I mean, there's obviously more people behind the camera, but at this table, there's 3 people building these plates that people are submitting online. And one of the women building it was Melanie, and she looked so nervous to be on camera. She was like, she had like her eyes were welling up. She was like a little bit just jittery talking to Melvin, and then the way it looked, it's like there's 39,000 plates that are going to go up there. She's going to legit be there for like 96 hours building these dots plates, not able to leave. Like,
hey, those employees at the Lego house are so awesome. Like every interaction I've ever had with someone at Lego house is, John always gets upset at me because I call it the Lego house, which isn't actually what you're supposed to call it, but I don't care.
Oh.
So they are just incredible, and they always do such a good job and are very helpful whenever we're there.
Hashtag free Melanie. Maybe she's still putting those together at this rate. I don't know. It's Tuesday now.
Well, it's supposed to go until like July something, right? Like, so yes, she's still there.
Yeah, it goes
Still
till the
wearing
end of
that
July.
same outfit.
Oh God.
They've been bringing her snacks in.
Oh boy.
If you go to the Lego house, you can have like little peanut packets for the Dots team. You can just drop off. Here's something to get through the day.
They're feeding them those sets of 6 red bricks that you get as you leave.
Yeah, because remember, you can eat Lego. You can just
because it's made out of plants now, you know.
That moment was awesome.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy. So before we get into any other spicy topics and conversation, I noticed that Brian did point out that he got something from Daddy. Same thing as Joshua and John. I got something from Daddy as well. Daddy sent me something, and it was the exact same hoodie. So wait, that's upside down. There we go. Hoodie. So yeah. So I got one too. Which is pretty nice. So I'll wear this eventually. Just not today because again, it's very hot outside. I came from outside. And it was extremely hot. Take me off of the full screen, please. Thank you very much. But yeah, so there was that. What? Maybe Melanie leaked this over. I will say though, on my trip, something very interesting happened. So I get in the car, I get in the lift because I have to go take something to my mom, and then as I'm driving, I have this shirt on because I had to rush to go outside, so I didn't change my clothes or anything like that. And then as we're driving, the Lyft driver turns around and he was like, "Where do you work?" And I was like, "I don't work anywhere. This is just a shirt I'm wearing for a stream that I do. It's for this channel called Beyond the Brick." And then he paused for a second and he was like, "Wait, I think I know you. Are you Kirk from Beyond the Brick with the quarantine cast?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's the quarantine. I actually have to do that in a few, but I have to go deliver this thing." He was like, "Oh my God, this is crazy that I'm actually driving Kirk from the quarantine cast."
Look at my boy making it big time.
I was laughing the entire time. Oh man, he was like, "Yeah, he looks forward to watching those." And I told him, as you guys were talking, I was like, "Well, we're actually getting ready to end them." And then that's when he kind of put a face. He put the face on, like, "Oh, well, that's sad." I was like, "Yeah, they're getting ready to go back to conventions now, so we're gonna be slowed down." But
and then he opened it and slowed down and opened the door.
Just like, you know what? Just get out. Oh, man,
I love
that was the highlight.
Your animated face in the Twitch chat. If you got the emotes on Twitch or YouTube, please spam those Kirk Wilson. Make a brain heads, please. Thank you.
Did he give you the ride for free? That's what I want to know.
No, unfortunately not.
Not there yet.
Yeah.
But did you promote your Twitch channel or your YouTube
Still got some
channel
work to do.
I didn't.
Hey, no free shout
I
outs
didn't.
here.
I'm
You've
terrible.
been like, hey, you could come watch me play some dope video games over on Twitch.
I'm terrible. I'm terrible at promoting myself. I don't know. I always feel weird about it.
I love that emote.
Everyone
so
is using it. And every single time I speak, everyone uses that emote. Oh man.
Well, you've surpassed me in fame, Kirk. No one's recognized me on the street in years. So,
Oh man.
I've
Missed
never been
opportunity.
recognized.
Not
It's
even as
okay.
the new Captain America. That's disappointing.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
oh, once I start going to shows, I'll see if people think that. That'd be funny.
no, they absolutely will. 100%.
I thought
Be like
you'd be
John
eating
Walker.
for free in restaurants and everything. You know, you go into a restaurant, you sit down to eat, and they're like, "Are you Captain America?" Yes,
Hey,
I
if
am.
that gets me free food, I'll do it all day.
You just have to
Yeah.
cosplay as Captain America at all the shows, right?
There you go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, this Twitch chat is alive with these emotes. The YouTube people.
It's oh boy.
What's YouTube? Asleep at the wheel? Where are we, kids? Wake up.
The funny thing is that Facebook viewership is like the lowest I've ever seen it right now. I guess Lego Con apparently isn't popular with the Facebook crowd.
How many
YouTube
on
viewership
Facebook?
is really good right now, though.
How many on Facebook?
25.
Yeah, those Facebook people, they come in, they start promoting their scam businesses. Like there's all sorts of going on there. I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
All set with that. Y'all should set up a booth. Well, I
Sign
mean,
autographs.
there's some tentative ideas for Brick Fair Virginia that aren't finalized, but you know,
Oh boy.
Are there?
Some-
Because I don't like talking to people, so if it requires me
Oh.
to interact with people.
well, I guess it's just me and Kirk doing the quarantine cast alive. Whoops.
Just stand there, like any Quarantine Cast fans, anybody, Kirk and Brian from Quarantine
That would be
Cast?
fun
No,
to do
no,
that.
no, nobody.
It's just
That'll be
it's
fun.
just gonna be Joseph Zawada in the crowd. That one clap. Be like,
Oh
it.
boy.
that's it.
That'll be fun.
That's right, Isabel. I've bought into all of their marketing scams, so they don't show up anymore.
Hey, wait, hold
Oh,
on.
boy.
We got Eddie Suarez over there on Facebook. Hey, Ed, thanks, man. Appreciate you being here. Thanks, Eddie. Salute to you. We raise
Thank you.
There it
So
is.
sorry, Brian's making fun of you.
I'm making fun of the people promoting their scam businesses. It's our job to promote our scam businesses here, not them.
There we
Oh,
go. We got Hawaii shouts out.
There
Sounds
we
pretty
go.
good right now.
That does sound pretty great. So Lego Con's a success. We're all happy with it. It'll be good.
Sounds about right.
I enjoyed it. That's for sure.
You're half asleep anyways.
I was too busy, as Brian likes to always say, out in the sun playing pickleball, exhausting myself before further exhausting myself getting the COVID shot. So it's just been an all around great time.
Beta Brick, we're contemplating an idea. We're in negotiations. Trade Federation negotiations are happening.
I also need to give a shout out to little Timmy as well in the pickleball tournament, who went out there and killed it out there. It's just such a joy to watch him play. You know, when you watch someone do something and you're like, wow, I will never be able to do that as well as you can. That's me watching John play pickleball. So shout out to him. It's very, very impressive.
Oh, can I? I gotta say, like, there's a little change of subject, but I gotta say how delightful it was to see them announce a set that was designed by a kid. I love that.
Yeah.
That was so great and like about time, in my opinion. Like I just thought that was, I don't know. I just thought it was a great little thing. Sorry, sidetracked there,
I
but
thought that was a great option too to pick for the contest.
yeah. Oh no, it was like, it wasn't,
Yeah.
yes, it was a great model. And also the fact, it just seeing a kid's picture up there, like
Yeah.
I designed this thing and now it's going to be a set, like how just great.
Mhm.
Just really, really fun. So
That's definitely the type of
Derail.
stuff.
They need to come out with Lego Ideas Kids Edition. Come on, have them come out with the next 4 to
Oh.
10 set or whatever.
that's something we can talk about because the next time that we're here would have already started. Ooh, thank you, April. You're just so, you
Look
should
at
be in
her.
charge of some
Wow.
sort of podcast. You should.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Dan, I don't think does as good of a job as he thinks he does. It should just be you. So,
What are you talking about? I don't
definitely got
even
it.
do the job.
He's got an enlarged view of himself for sure.
listen, April runs that show anyways. You're just saying like, hey, everybody, welcome to Between the Bricks. I'm Dan. Toss it over to April. She does all the different topics, and she yells at us every week when we don't have topics, and then none of us do anything.
Were you sort of like edging towards an accent there, Brian? Kind of like for like a second, and then kind of thought better of it, but then thought you'd try it anyway again, but then no.
He backed out of New Zealand real quick.
Oh boy.
All right, Brian, what's your spicy topic on ideas?
Pertaining to more so the Bricklink designer program.
Oh, that's true.
Oh.
Yes, that'll end up happening on July 1st at 8 a.m. Pacific. The first round of crowdfunding begins. So they're not releasing all of the 7,000 projects at one time. It's only going to be a select amount of them. And a select amount of those will actually end up getting the funding to become a set with a certain amount of pre-orders. So the sets that are up available for crowdfunding in this round are as follows. The Mountain View Observatory, Sheriff's Safe, the Pursuit of Flight, Bonko Legends, the Capico, Castle in the Forest, Particle Accelerator, and the Great Fishing Boat.
Huh.
I am all about that Castle in the Forest set. Oh, and the Pursuit of Flight. Two must-gets for me right there.
Oh, yeah. Nice. I really love the observatory and the castle. Those are like my two picks for sure.
This one, okay, Dan, yes, so you can see. I know you were curious about it before, but instead of a gold 2x4, there's a gold nugget in there.
Oh, nice.
Oh, he's at getting coffee. He doesn't even care. All right, so there's it's all good. So there's a bunch of different ideas up now. We've taken a look at these a while ago, but these are the allegedly official images. But on the promotional images, they also say these designs are not final, which I think is kind of ridiculous considering that people are actually going to be buying these and there's not a physical model built or a finalized 100% model yet. I don't understand that at all. But this is what we're having for the observatory. Presumably everything you see here will be stickers, not printed. And an important thing to note with these sets in general, all of them are going to be digital instructions, no physical instructions for any of these. So keep that in mind when you're plopping your money down for all these.
Really? Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's two things. I think it's a cost-cutting measure, and also a sustainability thing as well.
Yep, that's what they stated.
I don't want to have a digital thing open though when I'm building Lego. I just want, the open instruction booklet, the physical bricks. That's what I'm looking for in a building experience.
I
understand, but I also maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they said that the digital instructions were going to be in 3D. So like if you've used the Instructions Plus app, when they have their, like I know the bookshop had it, and you can actually spin the model around. It is so much better than a paper copy where you can't, sometimes it's hard to see. Because of the angles of that the model is at where things go. But I gotta say, it's that having that 3D model and being able to turn it is a big plus.
Well, and to be fair, the instructions will also be available for PDF download. So if you were really super wanted paper instructions, you could just print out the PDF. It'd be all right.
That's probably what I'll end up doing.
I prefer paper instructions too, but I get why they're doing it.
Well, and also
speaking of instructions, real quick, I don't know. Are they supposed to be fixing the issue with the brown on black instruction booklets? Because I can barely see the brown pieces on this police station instruction booklet set.
I thought they weren't doing black pages anymore.
Yeah, they were gonna stop doing black pages.
Well, I guess
altogether.
this set is old enough that it must have.
Yeah, it was one of the last ones.
Yeah, one of the last ones, I think. Yeah.
The Taj as well, I think. But they've always had the fancier books.
So now that we're on the, I'm just scrolling through pictures here as we're talking. With these sets that are a part of this lineup, 5 of them will end up being actual productions for you to have in your home. And the way it works, I believe it's the first 5 of these 8 to get the proper amount of support will end up
3,
going through. Sorry, what was it, April?
The first 5 to hit 3,000 will go through, and then they will sell up to 5,000 of each of them before they're sold out or whatever.
Which is a very interesting window, like that, 3,000 threshold and then 5,000 maximum, but whatever. Why were these particular sets a part of this wave and not some others? I have no idea, but this is what we have of everything here.
From what I could see, okay, so down at the bottom, there were a couple of them that aren't making it to this phase at all.
Yes.
And it had something on it that said like the builder didn't have time to like redo the instructions, or they were, there were. So I think it's a matter of where they are in development with the fan creator, and whether they've actually like built it in real, in real bricks, or whether they have instructions complete or whatever. I think that is part of it.
So I'm looking at Brent's here because I want this one, A, and B. This looks like done. It looked done from the first image, and I know he's built this plenty of times. So the last time this was updated was May 6th. That's like well over a month ago, almost 2 months. So, I don't know how often they're required to update all these projects, but maybe there's also not only the issues with the sets themselves, but then like, hey, we want you to be in this wave or that wave or whatever. So
sure,
makes sense. When it comes down to these 8, I know we all have ones that we want or don't want, but of the 8, which 5 do you think for sure will get through to being made into actual sets?
Bionicle.
Okay. Glad you brought this up. Everyone in the Bionicle realm, hear my words echo into your eardrums, into your brain. If you don't buy this set, whether you want it or not, and if you are a Bionicle fan, if you don't buy this and Lego never talks about Bionicle ever again, it's on you, because this is your shot. We all get one shot, one opportunity to seize the moment and never squander it. You kids don't squander it. Don't do it. This is your shot right here. Buy this. And if you don't, it's all on you. Just saying.
Eminem just started playing in the background.
Because this doesn't exemplify what Bionicle is to me. It's the building system, it's the action figures, but it's still Bionicle. You got to buy it.
Well, but also too, like the people who are into Bionicle, the lore is a big part of it for them.
Yeah.
And the likelihood of them already having lots of actual, like figures is pretty high. So this is sort of seems like a nice little extra thing, like something that you wouldn't normally see that still, exemplifies, the Bionicle experience, if you will.
Brick Enforcer, we don't look at chat. We don't like you. Zero says Bionicle can die from a Bonkel fan. Ooh.
Wow.
Can I take credit for killing Bionicle if I don't support it? I mean, you can. That's a little morbid, but I mean, if you want. So, okay, that one, right? Now, what else? Pursuit of Flight for sure. We all agree?
Yeah, that seems like a pretty good bet.
This to me would have been perfect for ideas in general.
Yeah, it's a little, I think a little simpler than probably some of the things on ideas, which is possibly why it didn't make it.
Well, you could have done a higher price point gift with purchase for this.
Yeah, I mean, I build this same mechanism, but just like a single one, not the double version. But I build a single version of this with my kids, and it's not a terribly difficult build. Like I can build it with a room of 8 to 10-year-olds in an hour and a half without too much trouble. So that may be one of the reasons why it didn't make it in the first place.
Yeah,
I think,
and I love that this Wright Brothers flyer is here.
Yeah,
Love that.
I think an easier / harder decision, I realize that makes no sense whatsoever, but would be to pick the 2 that wouldn't get through in that first 5.
Well, but we have some time to kill, Dan. We're having a nice discussion here, and I know you just got your coffee, but we're having a nice talk about what's going to get through.
Cool.
Dan,
I think Dan's right though. Like, I mean, there's probably 2 standouts to everyone that wouldn't make it through.
well, but aren't we talking about like the positivity? I'm trying to spin this because we got a lot of time. We got a lot of time.
Hey, I'm happy to end whenever you want to, Brian.
I was gonna say Joshua wants to go take a nap. He's just like, hurry up, Brian, let's go.
Listen, this is one of the last quarantine casts. I will prop the corpse of Joshua Hanlon up wherever it needs to be as long as this stream continues. Okay. Jeez. All right, Dan, which one do you think is not getting through?
Okay, so this is no disrespect to the builders at all. This is my opinion as to what I think AFOLs are looking for in sets. I think, unfortunately, the particle accelerator is not going to fly.
agreed.
I see what you did there.
It's a good one, Dan.
And I'm doubtful that the Kakapo might not fly either.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are.
Hold on, that's a flightless bird. I see what you did there.
I would have to say those would,
Wait, is
those
it
would
a
be my
flightless bird?
2.
It's got a
Man,
good
I've
run
been
to
sitting
it.
here for like 30 minutes trying to think of these 2 jokes. Okay,
Oh my
God.
gosh.
This is
It's
his best
true, though.
material.
It's hard,
It's true.
hard
The
work.
Kakapo is a very nice model. Honestly,
is.
it's nice, but it's too niche because it is a native bird to only New Zealand, and
Right,
not
and-
enough of the world knows about it.
I'm a New Zealander, and I know that there are a bunch of people here that want this bird. And to be fair, I think it's a brilliant build. I really like it. I'm not sold on the feet, okay, but the rest of it is absolutely on point.
Dan's not a feet
I-
guy.
And
All
it's
right.
wearing a little hat.
I just feel like there's not going to be enough people that care
Yeah.
about it.
Hey, there's a lot
Now-
of passionate bird people out there.
So what?
There
well,
are,
okay.
which I would love to be proved wrong on this one. I really would, because
Yeah.
it would be. I actually would have nothing better than to see Hayden, the designer of this set, get rewarded for the work that he's put into it. That getting it to 10,000 on ideas was a grind for him. He, the model itself is really nice. He does a whole lot of really, really nice birds, and I've talked to him in the past about putting a book together with instructions for all of the birds that he's built, but he's just too busy. He's only a young fellow. He's when I say young, he's in his 20s, I think. He's a really nice guy, and he's a very talented builder. So I would love to see nothing more than for him to get rewarded for this, but I just do feel like that this is probably the on the lower of the 7 in this round, unfortunately.
So now I love the idea of a bird, and yes, Princess Daddy Uwu. We see the hats. We're acknowledging the hats. The hats are adorable, obviously, but yeah, there's only 30 people in New Zealand, anyways. They're not going to meet the 3,000 criteria to actually get this put into production. But I do think that there's.
In reality, like, you have a point. There's 5 million people in New Zealand, but out of that 5 million, you're looking at percentage-wise how many of them are going to want the bird, and it probably is 30, right? So, but Oh, I'm actually being serious.
boy.
This is
Yeah.
the game you play when you're up against things from people with a country of 100 million.
Hmm.
You look at the percentage of 100 million of people wanting to support something compared to the percentage of 5 million wanting to support something.
Right.
You got to take all of these things into account when you're looking at it from a realistic point of view.
Now, what would be a really killer 18 plus set? You give me a 2,300 piece version of this.
I was
That would
yeah.
be
I'm a
awesome.
Oh yeah.
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 That would be incredible as an 18 plus set. And you make it even bigger than this. I'm talking like
Yeah.
a almost life-size version of that. I know
Mhm.
that they're doing pets and like ideas or not ideas, but in brickheads, but nah.
Mm.
Give me like a
Yeah.
large scale version of a parrot, you're good to go. That'd be awesome.
Look, I think even the kakapo is a really nice. It's a native parrot to New Zealand, obviously, but it's like camouflage. It is actually look like that. It's darker than what's depicted in the picture in reality. But I think even a kiwi probably would have had a better shot because even a kiwi is a little bit more identifiable. A kiwi is like our kangaroo. So
And it has a fruit
like an
attached
Australian
to it.
kangaroo. That's right, it does. So you could have a kiwi eating a kiwi.
Love it.
That
think
bird
about
is
that.
Wearing a
huge.
hat.
Oh,
Wearing a hat.
oh boy.
Yeah.
The top hat. Now, see if they updated this with at least like maybe 5 to 10 more hats, I think it could get some real traction.
Well, there was a bow tie included in one of these. They might have gotten
Yeah.
rid of it, but
Oh
No,
well.
it was in the final picture. The top hat with the bow tie.
I mean it's cute looking, but
Yeah.
the price on this is going to be important too, as someone in the chat said. I don't know how much this would probably cost, but definitely not like $100. It would be.
See, this is
40?
another thing that I have a major problem with this entire concept is that on the first, when these all release for crowdfunding, that's when we find out the price. Like we should have known the price 2
Yeah.
weeks ago
Yeah.
when they had the final things submitted so that people knew what they were getting into. Because like I said on Friday, there are some people that are diehard collectors of things and want to purchase every single one in the collection. And for those people, they may be looking at thousands of dollars and they just don't know.
Yeah, speaking of high cost to entry, I know Joshua, you're eyeing this one seriously. I mean, maybe seriously, but like this is gonna. I had thought this would be 200. I know April, you think what 3?
Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be closer to 3. I think there's going to be a markup just because it's part of the program to begin with, and there's going to be so few produced.
Wow. That seems pricey.
I mean, there's a lot of detail in here too.
Mm.
Yeah, it's beautiful. This is one of my other 2 picks. It's a great one.
Mhm.
Yeah, for
Yeah, it
anyone
looks
that
nice.
was dissatisfied with that 3-in-1 castle, this is what you'd be looking at.
Well, fortunately, the budget is going to have a big surplus once the quarantine cast ends and Brian's paycheck isn't sucking everything out. So we'll have the funds to do it.
Wait, paycheck?
There's paychecks involved. I'd like to see. I would like to see the kakapo beat out either the safe or the fishing boat,
Or Bionicle.
or Bionicle for definite.
All right,
Shocking.
So hold on. All right, so this I knew the pistol was going to get taken away. Obviously.
Mhm.
Now, I mean this might just get through because it's. I don't think this is what I mean. Obviously, like Dan said, this is not a dig at the designers in any way, shape, or form. But it's not the strongest of all of them. But I think it's the strongest of one of these 8.
I
Well,
like the
it's also
concept.
the fact that it functions and locks, I think will be interesting to people.
Yeah. I'm just not looking forward to like this sticker right here. That's gonna be rough. If they do stickers for, this stuff. Yeah. Uh-oh. Power. Nick, you good? Oh, he's
choppy.
Yup.
Dan, did you see the YouTube comment that said that the kiwi would be made out of edible Lego?
What else? I mean, I like this boat. I wish it was a American fishing boat because that's what I'm used to. But I mean, it's not all about America. I get it.
It's not.
No,
It's not.
crazy, right? I think it was Jang that pointed out on the Between the Bricks stream that there is a lot of missing detail in like the front of the ship, especially like there's it's just not as flush as it was previously.
Yeah.
So
that ship got majorly messed up when they had to use things that were within the current palette.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate because it was a really, really good model. It still is, but there are more obvious flaws with it now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks great on display.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the particle excel. No, not. I mean, JK Brickworks will get one of them in, but not this one. Not to me, at least. And then all these other ones are going to be a part of the future crowdfunding at a later date. We don't know specifically, and that's kind of flexible, depending on what they want to do. But there's still a lot to go over. A lot of these designs probably are not finalized. I'll be curious to see what 8 get into the next round and so on and so forth. This one I know saw a lot of changes, I think, in terms of the functionality, because I think before the human portion cracked open, but now it just splits apart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but we said all along that would have been difficult to make it stand up like that with, the amount of weight that was on that joint. So maybe that proved that it wasn't going to work.
I like the base is now a collectible minifigure plate. That's pretty cool.
Okay, so herein lies another question. If that original model was submitted to ideas in a digital render and it wasn't actually functional or able to be done, why is it allowed to get through? I think this would have had more of a chance. Yeah, I know, but I think this would have had more of a chance at getting through as it is now.
You think so?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I do, because it's more realistic and it's functional. And I love the fact. I think what's the best thing on this now is this base that he's designed and having it as the mechanism to split it open. I think it's brilliant.
Well, I mean,
I hadn't seen this updated version, but I really like this.
Obviously, it's taken a lot of work to redo in this render. So I wonder if it's just that Lego didn't want to spend the amount of time necessary to basically recreate it so it worked for them. Or maybe they just thought, hey, some people are going to think this is really creepy, because I know a lot of people that still think it's creepy. They don't want to put it out on the shelf as an official idea set.
I think that, as an official idea set, I think the creep factor, no. I mean, maybe if the eyes were changed to be just a solid black eye instead, but...
No, that'd be so much worse. It'd be just like Yoda or whatever it was. It had like the real bad eyes and you had to replace them.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's well done. It's just not for everybody.
Not at all.
I actually like this version. I like this version way more than the last version.
We have the canned ones down here because they were like, oh, we're going to put this on a different website instead. All right. Cool. Man, this Temple of Hermit, man, Dan, what a miss. What a miss. Would have been great.
Right.
Yeah, beautiful.
That one would have been so
very,
expensive.
very disappointing.
What was the reason again? Complexity of revising the model for the program.
Yeah, in other words, the roof sections didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we questioned way back in the beginning.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're doing illegal build techniques. We can't do that.
Yeah, it would have just been too fiddly. Like those curves in the roof would have been doable, but the minute you touch it, it's fallen down.
I still this one. I don't.
Brian's got some thoughts about that one.
Well, when you think moving waterfall, you think like
Not
it's
3
moving.
studs that get hung up in the thing.
Yeah. That doesn't strike me as like, wow.
Can you guys
But-
hear me?
Yeah. I mean, it's very well done technically.
I think was Nick trying to say something there?
Can you
Yeah,
guys,
sure
he
was.
cut out.
can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna leave. The power's actually flashed 4 times in the last like 20 minutes.
Oh, geez.
Uh-oh.
I don't know how I've miraculously stayed in the game throughout it. And I feel like I'm not going to take my chance with my electronics. I'm probably going to turn everything off
That'd be
for a
wise.
bit. It's like thundering like crazy out there, raining like crazy. I'm expecting some water in here soon. But moving the unit behind me. But yeah, lots of cool stuff on a designer program. We'll catch you later, guys. I don't want to ruin any of my tech, so
Stay
good one,
safe.
and be
Bye,
safe.
Nick. Be safe.
Yep.
Take care, bro.
So that's everything for the program so far. The pre-orders start for July 1st. That is Thursday. So by the next time the quarantine test happens, I would bet some of these already get fulfilled.
Yeah, I think so too.
Being met.
Okay, so question: is anybody on the panel intending on supporting buying any one of these?
Joshua,
First
wake
round
up.
sets.
Which ones you put in your mind? Which one's Timmy busting out the company card for?
The Pursuit of Flight. I mean, it's basically a World War I trench scene. So close. I love that. And then Castle. Those are the two for sure for me.
All right, so that's about $450 going on the company card, John. Just so you know.
Yep. Just
Oh,
just
I
to
don't
let
think
John
Pursuit of
know.
Flight will be that much. I think it'll be the least expensive of the group.
The Kakapo might be the least expensive.
Mm,
Yeah, you're right. I
I
don't
don't
know.
think so.
Nah, there's more going on in the Kakapo than there will be in Pursuit of Flight, surely.
yeah,
How much you think on Pursuit of Flight?
I think it'll probably be 80,
80.
sub 100,
80?
sub 100.
No way.
That seems
Yeah.
more like a. I don't
50?
know, a 60 or a
Yeah.
50?
I don't know. I hope I'm wrong about this, but I think there's going to be a markup because of it being in this program. I don't
mean,
think it's
these
going to be
things
like a
are
normal
big.
MSRP on a set.
But I would think it would be it would go the other way, especially with them obviously trying to cut corners with not having paper instructions.
And if you remember from the last time this program happened, I remember the saloon was like 1,300 pieces or something like that, and it was $150. It wasn't that bad.
Was it?
I
I don't think 80. I think maybe 60. Maybe. I can't see.
We'll see.
I would not pay $80 for that. No way.
You got to
John
remember
would.
though, last time this program happened, the sets were reasonably expensive, but they were all hand packed as well. Remember,
right.
they had to hand count all the parts as well. They didn't use Lego's machinery to. Okay, granted, it wasn't owned by Lego at that point in time,
Right.
but I don't know if Lego are going to produce these within the production facility or whether they're just going to provide the bricks to Bricklink like they did last time and they're all hand counted.
Mm.
I would bet because Lego owns them, they'll have some sort. They would have some hand in it. They would have to.
Maybe not. Just because they own it doesn't mean they're going to run it the same. It's
Yeah.
still run independently. You know, that
Yeah.
last lot was all hand counted and hand packed and then hand sealed.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to use the same system they use for a normal set, but I think there's some resource of some kind that they'll bring over. Something, a process or whatever.
We'll see. I'm setting my expectations maybe higher than they need to be because I want to be ready for the sticker shock when it comes out.
Yeah.
Because the things that I'm going to want are going to be probably expensive.
I know for me, I can't say I'm going to plan on buying any of these. I'm very curious how this one's actually going to perform in the market. So I'll be watching that intently. This castle is awesome, but I know for a fact I'm going to build it. It's going to be on display. I'm going to toss it in a bag, and then that's going to be it. So I like it, but I don't love it. And there's other ones on here like the Wild West Saloon down here that I love. So I'm going to wait for that one. So what about Kirk? Are you gonna put a wish list together, send it to John, and click your ruby slippers together? What do you
People,
Oh,
feel free
boy.
to send your wish list.
And they'll be ignored.
Out of what's, I guess, in the stage to be like sourced or whatever, I don't really think there's anything there that's that appealing to say like it sticks out to me. Maybe the safe if I was to get something, and that's only because I like the concept. I'm trying to think. Scroll down some more. Okay, you have that. You have that. The boat is a nice one, and only because it kind of reminds me of Jaws.
Of course,
And-
it has to go
yeah.
back to an 80s movie. Of course,
I mean, it reminds me of Jaws, and also it's a nice model. Besides that, but
but you
so
don't love
maybe
any
the
of these.
safe. Well, there's one that I kind of like, but I think it's only because of the motion. But I'm not going to say it because I feel like everyone's just going to look at me.
Kirk's one of the 5 people buying the particle accelerator. everyone.
Yeah,
Here we
it's
go.
okay. Look, I've seen the video when he made it a while ago, and I remember always wanting to kind of build it when I was younger.
When you were
and
younger, how old is this model?
I don't remember.
A few years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But yeah, so I remember seeing it and I was like, okay, this is actually kind of cool. I would like to build this, but I could not build it because I didn't have the parts.
But Kirk, this seems like a thing you would see at the Science Museum, play with it for 3 minutes, and then you're done. Where are you going to display this?
Probably wouldn't be able to display it anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's the issue with it. It
I
takes up
know,
so
I
much of
know.
an area too.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, if he had submitted the one, what was the other model that JK Brickworks made, where it was like a sort of gyrosphere type model. I can't remember the name of it, but if he had submitted that,
Yeah, I know. What
that's
you're
what
talking
I
about.
would have went for. Yeah, where it like goes down the stairs and everything. Like that's when I probably would have went for more than this. But
There was the one that the ball that expanded as it it turned, right?
It was something I can't remember what type of motor he used, but it was using either the 2 pieces or like tracks or something that it looked like a wheel. It was black and red and looked like a wheel, and he had a motor going on in the inside that when he would use the controller, it would rotate and spin and be able to move forward and backwards and turn. But I can't remember what the model was called.
I kind of want to look this up. So what would I look up? JK Brickworks.
Yeah.
Oh, was that? Oh, that was the mono wheel.
Yeah, that. So if he had
Ah.
submitted that, that's when I probably would have went for more.
A remote control mono wheel?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Did he ever complete that though? Because I think he had a lot of problems with that.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that,
he had problems with it falling apart.
exactly. That was the issue with it.
Oh, that's sick! I would buy that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I'm like, I would definitely go for that if he had submitted that.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
He should have submitted. He should have submitted that. I really would have went for that.
Mini hamster in there. You got 5,000 done.
Yeah. I don't know if he still has instructions for these. I don't think he ever put the instructions out for them or for it.
I got a feeling that I can remember this one, and I got a feeling that he didn't really get any instructions for it because it kept
Because he kept doing that.
destroying itself.
It kept doing that. Yeah.
You know
But
what you
if-
could
if-
do with this too, Kirk, and all the
What?
Star Wars kids out there? That's
Oh,
General
yeah.
Grievous's wheel bike right there. That's what that is.
I thought you were gonna say. Do, but
No, I mean,
Yeah,
you could do
right?
that too, but that-
yeah, I mean
a Grievous
that's
wheel
the
bike.
first thing that comes to mind, not general.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, that
think
could
the
also
Star Wars
work.
kids would love the wheel bike more than Dio.
I mean, yeah, I was just thinking like shape wise, it looks more like, yeah. But no, like if he had actually like fleshed out the model and got it where it wouldn't break, that's the model I think I actually would have been a part of sourcing if it was
Dan,
on
you
here.
forking over any cash for these?
No, I'm not. If I was, I do like the Pursuit of Flight, but I you know, the safe I kind of like as well, but not enough. Like you, not enough to want to buy it. If I had any money in this round and I was going to drop it, I'd definitely drop it on supporting the Kakupo. just simply because of the personal connection to it and having met Hayden a couple of times. And, you know, I think it is a nice displayable bird. And I really genuinely hope that it does get through. I really do. But yeah, that's where I would put my money. I would put it on the Kakapo just for that reason.
The safe
Clint,
is
are
the
you gonna have to do any
number
convincing
3.
for Richard to buy one of these, or
I'm sorry, what was that?
are you going to need to convince Richard to let you get one of these, or you have your eyes on anything?
No, actually, I think that we both agreed on, and funny enough that you would mention that, because we do sort of consider what we're going to buy as set wise as a couple generally. And fortunately our tastes are very similar, but I think we already kind of agreed that we liked the castle, but we really love the observatory. Like that is something that's both like right up our alley. Like, you know, really enjoyed that one a lot.
Yeah.
It's great, and the interiors are really great, and you know, yay science.
This really saw a facelift from the first time around. Like the details on the inside are actually really awesome. So if you want like another modular, but not quite a modular, it's on the same base plate, so you could probably connect it pretty easily.
Well, I mean, and there you go, right? Like I love stuff with lots of tiny detail, of course. So this is, you know, definitely there. And also it's, as far as, you know, a modular type building, it's very different than any other modular out there. And it would make a great addition to a city, a Lego city, I think. Just for nothing else, for its just differentness. And I love the museum aspect of it, and the shaping on the, you know, the top is nicely done. So
yeah.
What about you, April?
Depending on the price reveal, I would like to get the castle, but I think it's going to be out of my realm, because I'm saving up for some things in the later rounds.
What are you saving up for?
The windmill and the Seasons in Time calendar.
That calendar is going to be sweet. That's
right.
the one I got my eyes on. That and that one in the studio. But I want minifigures in that studio, in that Western set, really badly. But whatever. That's all right. But yeah, so this will happen on July 1st. So mark your calendars. It's literally 2 days from now. I don't think you're going to need to buy anything day one if you want to get something. I think you can wait for the weekend, you know, wait for your paycheck to pop on through. You'll be fine. I don't think it's a rush situation, but yeah, there are the first round until August 11th. I think they'll be way done before then, August 11th. You know, that's plenty of time. So there you go.
Hopefully John isn't too upset about the chunk of change coming out of the Beyond the Brick card.
No. That's just a small dent in you know what you guys have going on. You're fine. You're fine. How long will pre-orders be up? Allegedly, they'll be up until August 11th. But if all 5,000 units are allocated for, then that's it. Round 2 starts allegedly. Production for round 1 starts in September and goes until whenever. So they probably want round 1 done and in people's hands by Christmas, I would bet. And then for the second round, I would like to think it would happen before then, but we'll see. We shall see. So I have to step away for a few moments to do what needs to be done. So carry the stream. I'll be back.
Uh-oh.
Well, we've got 3 minutes of silence coming up.
I'm sitting here organizing, like, and putting away minifigs. And I gotta say, for like somebody who doesn't collect Ninjago, I have an absurd amount of Ninjago minifigures. And I don't know how. Actually, I do know how. Because we bought a bunch of like lots, like off of Facebook or whatever, and the kids and the Ninjago, and you end up with like a million ninja figures that I have no use for. To figure something out with them.
Oh my gosh.
And likewise, I'm a total Marvel person, but I have like 3 containers of DC minifigures and 1 container of Marvel minifigs.
Oh Lord.
I have no idea. I think part of it was from the Batman movie. CMFs kind of added to that because there were some really good ones.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, I think that's, and the same thing with Ninjago. I think those Ninjago CMFs added exponentially to the amount that I have, but
Yeah.
it's an odd balance.
Well, I think what you should do now is every mock going forward, like that mountain mock that you did.
Yeah.
Every mock going forward now, you need to have a micro scene in it that has Ninjago, and another micro scene that has Marvel and DC.
That's a really good idea. I am down with that. We do little things like that. We always include ourselves in the model somehow. Whether or not it's like it's never actually our sig figs. It's always just like these 2 characters represent us. So I always love putting little things like that. I mean, like nobody would probably get that unless you knew, but I always like to do stuff like that.
I think that's one of the best things at shows when people do big mocks like that, and they put in a whole bunch of different Easter eggs or things that aren't, that aren't traditionally meant to be in the scene. And when people see that stuff, they love it. It's become a real big thing now. And
yeah, we always love building multiple stories into, especially when we do those really big mocks like the mountain. Is you got to figure there's going to be people approaching it from all sides, first of all, and there's going to be people closer up and further away. And people who are going to be on different sides of it. So give them something to look at from all angles, I say. But I do love the
and different heights
stories.
too. Don't forget kids that are looking at it from table height up like this. And I think it's really cool when I see people build into models that they actually hide stuff or build stuff intentionally at a height that kids can see, and then they point to it, and then you got to see their parents have got to get down, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's really cool." But kids then feel included or special because they got to see it first. You know what I mean? And I think when people create like that, I love seeing stuff like that. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, we whenever we build our really big mocks or anything that's intended for a con, we constantly are looking at it from different levels. Like we will get down to kid level and be like, okay, especially something that tells a story, like if I'm this big, can I see everything? Can I only see part of it?
Yeah.
What can I see? And you're right. It's great to watch them be able to discover something that maybe nobody else would have seen, but they got to see because, they were down there. I think, always try to include stuff like that for sure.
I like covering builds with those like Easter eggs where it's like, a giant military layout, but they'll throw in like R2D2 or something, and that's like what half the comments of the video on. We get so much more comments for the algorithm when people put stuff in there like that.
One of my favorites was I did Richard and I built along with Boone and our buddy Perry and Mark and Sam. We did this Ewok Adventureland that kind of like sprang from an idea that like Boone and Perry had, and it was a theme park built by Ewoks on and after the Battle of Endor, and everything was built out of like crashed spaceship parts and like all kind of stuff. And one of my favorite bits was Perry. They put in like they got the little flashlights, the minifig flashlights that are kind of like bigger than a regular. It was a minifig flashlight of C-3PO holding hands with an Ewok, and it was a statue in the middle that was supposed to be like a joke on the Disneyland statue of Walt and Mickey Mouse holding hands, and it was just really funny. And if you know your Star Wars and your theme parks, it was a great thing that a lot of people really clued in on. I thought that was fun.
you can see that build on Beyond the Brick if you want to see what he's talking about. It was very impressive, and we had all the builders featured there, kind of talking about their part. So great work.
Yeah, thank you. That was a lot of fun, and I just love all the because we aren't despite being, as I've mentioned before, despite being in the theater when the original movie premiered, we're not as big of Star Wars fans in our adulthood as we were when we were kids. But I have a big appreciation for all the iconography and the lore and all that stuff. So it was great to see them include all that.
I strongly identify with this comment right now.
Listen, Sour Milk.
boy.
You have a name that's called Sour Milk. All right. Relax.
Wow, that was very observant, Brian.
I'm doing this for 60 weeks, Flynn. All
Brian,
right?
you have a name that is
boy.
Brian.
Listen. All right.
I think we've got to wrap this up soon.
Soon. Well,
Joshua.
hold on. There's no other sets. There's no.
I'm just gonna walk away if you keep talking, Brian.
Yeah, I have to go anyway myself. So
All right. Well, Joshua is going to be dead. So what I'll say before you end this one off, Joshua, for anyone listening and watching right now, knocking on the table. All right. We're going to have the last 2 Quarantine Cast shows will be next week and the week after. If there is anyone that you want to appear on the live stream to be in the hot seat, to talk about the Lego hotness, whatever they got going on, whether it's a Lego designer, a content creator, a community member, whatever, we're going to try to make it work as best as we can. All right. So whoever publicly call out Just Too Good, publicly call out Solid Brick Studios. You want to get Justin Ramsden on here. I'm dropping all the names. All right. Let's get them on here. It's the last hurrah. All right. Let's make something happen. We're going to make these last 2 weeks incredibly special. So, until next week, Joshua, go die and get replenished for next week.
Well, if he dies, he's not going to be here next week, and neither will we. So
Prop him up. Prop him up.
well, and if he
right.
does, you are going to be on the top of the suspect list, my friend.
Yeah.
So,
Also, who's gonna pay out the big paychecks?
oh right.
It's John. He takes it over. He's the Jeff Bezos of the Lego community. It's fine. He's fine.
True. He is the Jeff Bezos of the Lego community. Oh, I love it.
man.
Well,
Oh, boy.
we will see everyone next week. Thanks for joining.